Once again, it's me, the KNG. So, I got some new quarters today. And yeah, I made a short of this. Told you the video was coming. Yep. So, let's talk about it. The quarter. What do we have on the back of the quarter, you might ask? Is a woman, first woman on money, right? I think. I ain't never seen her on there. I never seen a woman on any currency in the US. Ever. So this is the first one. This is a monumental, right? And it's on a quarter. 4 quarters make $1. Y'all know how money work in the US. Wilma Mankiller is principal chief of CWYA DBP. So I don't know what the hell these letters are. Principal chief sounds like more of a corporate title than a political office. Huh? Am I onto something here? Now, commander in chief is the only chief I know about in political office. That is the president when he assumes title in the armed forces. But principal chief, it's like principal chief operator, or you know what I mean? Like you got the CEO, CFO, COO, you know what I mean? Chief, executive, operator, financial operator, whatever. But first part is chief, and then some businesses have principal chief. So this seems like that. So let's dive into it. First, we'll go there. We all know about America being a corporation. If you didn't know, now you know. Um, the U.S. INC is a business, and its people are its commodity, and its domestic gross product, GDP, right? Um, we all have assigned numbers on how well we are performing, our social security number, and based on that social that is traded in the stock market, then people uh, of the elite and also people that are in the know can buy and sell those commodities in order to increase their wealth. Nice little side note, we're gonna get off the money and get into the bitch. It's a woman on the currency currently, 2022. Wilma. Wilma sound like an old bitch too. I'm just saying, Wilma. I ain't never heard of nobody naming their child Wilma after 1980s. Like Wilma sounds like somebody that my dead grandma, God rest her soul, would have went to school with. Because my grandma was light skinned, you know. But Wilma's white. Wilma sounds like somebody who that little badass kid would have tormented in the neighborhood. You know, probably the wife to Mr. Wilson. So we know she's old just by the simple fact of her name, her first name. She's old as shit. Now her last name is Mankiller. Her last name is Mankiller. That's her clan name. Okay? Surname. Okay? So if we go to clan name, a lot of times back in the olden days, which this bitch is from, obviously, Wilma is her first name, they made last names by the work that you did, right? So you might have, um, or if you were the son of somebody, they might have, had your name be Johnson, um, Wilson, um, Wilmington, or if you were a welder, it might be welder. If you were a carpenter, it might be carpenter. You know what I mean? So your last name basically came up for the work that you do, your family's work, because a lot of times uh, the family would pass on their trade. So based on that trade, everybody in that family would have that last name, basically discerning that they knew the trade. So, uh, John Blacksmith typically would have been a blacksmith, and John Blacksmith's kids, Jane and William Blacksmith, typically would have knew the business of blacksmithing, right? So if we go with Mankiller, what the fuck was her family doing? Hmm? What the fuck was her family doing? Killing peoples? This is a family of assassins? What are we doing here? Huh? What what? Man killer? Your last name is Man Killer. Really? Really? So now let's go into the conspiracy. We're here now. We just touched down. Good to see you. I welcome you. Refreshments at the table. So, Wilma Mankiller. Let's break this all the way the fuck down first, right? Wilma Mankiller. Wilma. Wilma being mother, man, killer. Will mother, man killer. Abortions, right? First thing that pops in my mind when you say that thing slowly, right? Abortions just got outlawed, right? And Wilma Mankiller just got on the damn quota. So, a quarter for your thoughts. Maybe you had a couple more pennies. Now, we can go that route with Wilma Mankiller. And we can also go with just Mankiller, being that in the system of starch femininity, where the rights to be equal with men and women have been so skewed and have been so manipulated that women are now oppressing men based on equality. So they're saying men are still treating women in such a way that they're not equal by oppressing men to be lesser than, while women are currently in the dominant role, right? And most people know this. So, the man killer is definitely talking about men being slain, right? This woman is the depiction of the turning of the tides in society, European society, obviously. We're talking about because, you know, African and Native American have always had um, female deities, have had women councils that have superseded anything else when it comes into the tribe or the community, basically because women don't travel outside of their home country territory and community, and men often travel and go to war and die earlier. So women are more of the staple, more of the concrete of the community, something that's going to be steadfast. And because of that, they have been in a position where it was like, hey, we are going to elect you and exalt you to a level of authority so that because you've seen all the things, in your vast lifetime, because you lived old as fuck, we want to know what your thoughts are, you know? So it's not necessarily, this um, culture that comes from the native people or comes from, you know, African people, but more so European people who have who've had to have the term chivalry because they were out killing and raping bitches. This is the history that people don't want to talk about. Yes, indeed, it is true. And that chivalry was based on, hey man, y'all just can't go out here just because y'all knights and do whatever the fuck you want with these women, okay? You gotta calm down. You gotta have a code. You gotta, come on, what are you doing? All right, all right. We'll call it chivalry, okay? So you won't just do crazy shit as a knight, okay? Just because you got a little, role or whatever. We're gonna have to put you on the code. And let me get that light. So, back to the quota. We know that there is an agenda to promote um, counter lifestyles, right? Those who aren't um, quote unquote in the normal views and ways of thinking when it comes to sex for reproduction, right? Those that think of sex for fun or sex for pleasure, those people are now in the roles of authority, and they are um, showcasing propaganda to the masses in which sex for pleasure should be at the forefront. You know, it doesn't really matter who you are and who you love, blah, blah, blah. It's all sex for pleasure. It's not sex for procreation. So this Mankiller definitely is a representation of the order, you know, because man brings order, woman brings creativity, and with order and creativity, you find a balance of progression, right? I say creativity, but I really mean chaos. But it is creativity nonetheless, because creativity is chaos. I just want you to know that. I just want you to know that. Anywho, the the order of things, you know, is being challenged now. So, order is man, and Mankiller is the destruction of order, right? These things are the technology, that you might see. Little small nuanced things, little uh, sub tweets, small little, um, you know, incomprehensible things that I'm really shedding light on because I got a ring light. And these go into your subconscious mind, and it builds these certain ideals and thoughts in your head, and it comes to uh, when you go into some of these echo chambers, and when you hear some of these politicians talk, or you hear some of the rhetoric of the counterculture, it makes more sense. You lean more towards it just because you've seen a quarter, you flipped it over, and didn't really understand that Wilma Mankiller was saying something totally different than just a bitch as a principal chief. And she's a principal chief. The principal chief. Yeah, it's a woman. So that really shows you the order of things, you know? I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Um, share this, comment, because I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Um, the short video I got, is doing numbers right now, so can't wait to hear what y'all think about the video. So that's me. I'm out. KNG. You know what it do. You know who we be. Hirsch.